Welcome back to Solve with Me Series 2. Today's MCQ is based on genetic inheritance. Let's read the question first. The following pedigree is given. And the question says, which of the following disease has the given mode of inheritance? The options are as follows. Marfan syndrome, cystic fibrosis, MELIS, hemophilia, incontinentia pigmenti. To solve this MCQ, we first need to understand the type of inheritance depicted by the given pedigree. Let's understand the symbols which are used in the pedigree given in the question. Males are represented by square. Empty squares denotes males without disease and colored boxes represents males affected by the disease in question. Similarly, females are represented by circles. Empty circle means unaffected female and colored circle denoted affected females. When two people are married or in relationship, they are represented by joining them with a relationship line. The children born out of their relationship is represented by a vertical line, known as line of descent. All the siblings are denoted by the sibship line, out of which vertical, individual lines emerge. This represents all the children, eldest child being on the left, with the youngest on the right end of sibship line. Multiple generations can be represented in the same pedigree. For example, if the eldest in this pedigree is married, pedigree can be extended like this. And their children will also be represented as shown earlier. These are the basic symbols which we need to understand the pedigree in question. Now going back to our question, let's decode the pedigree. So this is the first generation in the pedigree. Remembering the symbols which just revised, we observe here that an unaffected male marries an affected female. Let's look at their children or the second generation. We can see that all their children are affected, whether it's a boy or a girl. So our finding here is that an unaffected father and an affected mother cause transmission of mutation to all their children and both genders are affected equally. To confirm our inheritance pattern, let's move on to the next generation and see how inheritance varies under different circumstances. So, the eldest affected daughter marries an unaffected male and again in the next generation, all children are affected, affecting both genders equally. Second child, being an affected male, gets married to an unaffected female. And we notice that none of their children are affected, whether they are a boy or a girl. Thus, here are observations are that in case of union of affected male with unaffected female, the mutation is not transmitted to any of the children, regardless of their gender. Similar patterns are seen with the third and fourth child. So our final conclusion from the given pedigree is that whenever the mother is carrying a mutation, she is transmitting the defective genes to all her kids, of both the genders. Whereas, when the father is carrying a mutation or disease, he is not able to pass them on to next generation, regardless of their gender. This is typical of mitochondrial inheritance, since the mitochondrial genes are only passed on from the mother. Let's see why only mothers are able to transmit mitochondrial genes. We must remember mitochondria are unique, because they have their own separate genetic material inside them, which are different than what is present in other cells. Now let's look at human ovum and sperm cell. Both of them contain mitochondria and genetic material. This is the ovum cell. Here is the nucleus containing all genetic material and here is mitochondria, with its own set of genetic material. This is the sperm cell, which also contains genetic material inside its nucleus as well as mitochondria. Nucleus is present in the head of sperm, whereas mitochondria is present in the middle piece or tail of sperm. When fertilization occurs and head of the sperm enters the ovum, it sheds its plasma membrane and leaves behind its tail, along with the mitochondria. Thus, the product of conception has only female mitochondria but nucleus of both male and female. Hence, the mitochondria with its unique genetic material never forms a part of next generation. Since we have decoded the pedigree and concluded that it shows mitochondrial inheritance, next part of question is to choose the disease where mutation shows mitochondrial inheritance. So these are the answer options. Let's look at their mode of transmission, one by one. First option is Marfan syndrome, which is an autosomal dominant condition. Second is cystic fibrosis, which is transmitted in an autosomal recessive pattern. Then comes MELIS, which shows mitochondrial inheritance. Next is hemophilia, which is a well-known X-linked recessive disease. And the last disease is incontinentia pigmenti, which shows X-linked dominant inheritance. Thus, it's already clear that our answer is option C or MELIS, because that's the only disease here which shows a mitochondrial inheritance pattern. With that we come to the end of this video. Hope you have understood the concept. See you in next video.